You can support this show on patreon.com/wandering the aisles. That's patreon.com/wandering the aisles.
My dad's very funny.
So yours is supportive of your stand-up?
He kind of is, but he also doesn't get it. I remember the first time I showed him my tape, because I was just like, I wonder what he thinks, you know? And he watched it, and he's like, oh, wow, like, people actually laugh at your stuff. And I was like, that's the bar? Like, you thought I'd just go up on stage and say shit, and people just look at me until I, like, get off?
Yeah. Welcome to Wandering the Aisles. I'm Andy Farnsworth. These are impulse buys with commentary from Earth's most interesting regular people, happenings out in the world, spontaneous conversational films. I'm tired from shopping online all day. That's why I'm tired. I mean, I didn't even buy anything. I just looked around on Amazon. I wandered the aisles of Amazon today. Oh, quick plug. This Friday, I have a show at the Denver Comedy Lounge. If you want to buy tickets, just click on the Denver Comedy Lounge Facebook page, and you can get tickets. You got to buy them in advance now because of the whole thing we're doing with the distancing. Denver Comedy Lounge. Ben Kronberg runs it. Anthony Kapfer. Great dudes. Great room. The shows there are always amazing. I mean, I'm on it, but not just because of me. I'm going to be pretty good, you guys. I've written some great material, I have to say. In quarantine, I got some good stuff coming. I'm really excited about recording this stuff and putting it on an album. I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm in a Safeway parking lot in Lakewood, Colorado, really mixing it up. Just different parking lots. I'm looking at some kind of scene here. It looks like it may be meth informed. I think meth is part of the situation. But it's an old Subaru and a guy in a tank top and a woman. And I don't know, they just look like meth people. I'm just going to say it. And I don't mean like physically as much. They are thin. But the conversation is very meth looking. They're kind of wandering around the car. It's like car trouble. It's like how you would walk around the car if you had car trouble, but the trouble's not with the car. I don't know if that makes sense. They just threw something. A rock. They're tossing rocks at each other. Not throwing at, just like for fun. I don't understand what's happening. A bunch of cars are showing up in the parking lot now, so fireworks are going off. I'm looking at the Kidney Center of Bear Creek, Cafe Giordano, Orion Sushi, Great Harvest, Bread Company, Fantastic Sam's, and then a wine and liquor store. Everybody's closed, except for the Safeway. The Great Harvest Bread Company, I mean, I could talk about the fact that place pisses me off, because usually, before all this went down, they used to just be so pushy about the samples. I mean, the sampling, like you had to, like, have you ever tried to go into one of those places and say no? You might be thinking, well, Andy, why would you turn down a slice of bread? Because on principle, I'm not taking your bread, because I feel the pressure, and the fact that there is pressure is making me like, no, I don't want to. I want your bread. I want the option, and I don't want there to be any pressure. People get real, like, the higher the carb content, the more codependent people are around the eating. The more they force you to eat it. It's never like, no, have an apple. Come on, have it. Come on. But if it's cake, you gotta have the fucking cake. Come on, it's a birthday. Have it. Come on. Michelle's only gonna be 98 once. Which is now a weird one, the 98-year-old Michelle. We're not breaking new ground here, but that did strike me as odd, a 98-year-old named Michelle. Also, a little baby named Nancy. Two bookends to life. Little baby named Nancy, little Nancy the baby, and old Michelle. Two people that may or may not exist right now. Those two people, they exist. I'm just going to say it. If I was in some situation where there was a trap door, and I had to say, yes, there's a Nancy that's a baby and a Michelle that's 98, I'm going to say yes. even though I know there's a trap door. And beneath it is a bunch of moldy bread from the Great Harvest Bread Company. Or no, a bunch of hippies making me eat it. That's what's underneath the trap door. A bunch of pushy, dirty, smelly hippies forcing me to eat bread samples that are moldy. There's a guy in a truck. It's way too high off the ground. High enough to just be openly declaring how racist it is. Might as well just put a little hood on it. A little white hood. With little holes for the headlights. Well, the Subaru is gone. The Subaru's leaving. Notes from the parking lot. That's it. That's the end of the podcast. It's way too high off the ground, dude. The lower to the ground your truck is, I would say, you're kind of more cool racially. The lower your truck is, the more accepting you are of race. You're probably Mexican, let's be honest. And if your truck's up high, you're probably someone that has a lot of, like a really well-stocked garage. You got one of those boards with the tool, you can hang all the tools on it, like a cork, like a pegboard. The meth people are on the move. Looks like they're venturing further away from the 10-yard perimeter around the car. Now they're looking up in a tree. A parking lot tree. So it's not like nature. They're not studying nature. These people might be on acid. I'm thinking this is an acid situation. Yeah. Did that guy get beer or a case of Dr. Pepper? Like, who goes to the store at 11 at night for Dr. Pepper? Unless it's alcohol related, like if you're using it to mix with something. Today on the show, Mr. BK Sharad. He's a Denver comic. Really funny dude, really the kind of comic I like, where he's trying to work on difficult stuff. He's trying to talk about real stuff. It's not stupid weed jokes. Okay, the meth lady is going into the store, and the Subaru is backing up across the entire parking lot. Huh. Yeah, this is clearly a situation. She's mad. The passenger side door is wide open. She is now about 100 yards away from him, and he has a bumper in his car. He has a bumper in the back of his car from like a Honda Civic or something. So yeah, I wasn't wrong. There's something going on there. And I'm getting ready for... See, now I'm glad the guy with the jacked up truck is near me, because I think I got backup. Let's just say that's one benefit of the people with the jacked up trucks. You know, they're backup. Probably a bouncer of some sort. Used to be a bouncer. I asked BK to be on the show, and he didn't want to go. He wanted to do it, but he didn't want to go, be outside in the world with somebody, because he's being responsible. Admittedly, I think on his part, I think he was saying he might be on the paranoid side. No, not paranoid. He might be on the conservative side in terms of protecting himself, if there is such a thing, in the face of a global pandemic. But point is, he'd only left the apartment like 7 times during this thing. We did a phone thing, and here it is. And I enjoyed talking to him. Oh my God, I think I'm just fucking lonely still. I think I'm just lonely. There's just a guy on a Harley. See, that's normal. He's riding around the parking lot. I talked to BK because Elon, who was on a little while back, has a podcast with BK, which you should check out. It's called Get Home Safe. That's on Spotify. Get Home Safe, which oddly enough is very near to the name of the thing, that the project that I'm working on. I just want to put this in right now. The one did not have to do with the other, so I didn't steal this name. But there's there's something that's kind of nearby in the title. So I didn't plagiarize, but I just want to put that out there. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I am disclosing a little bit of my own. I'm worried. It's a little bit close. I'm not that worried. Whatever. It's a different concept, but has one of the same words in it. I thought we had a really nice conversation. Here it is.
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you doing, BK?
Good. Just making some lunch. How about you?
I had 2 slices of Havarti cheese. That was my lunch. What are you making?
Nice, man. So let's see. We got some bacon cooking. Oh, hold on. Got some bacon cooking right there. And I got a ribeye steak seasoned with some smoked salt.
Yeah.
And we'll eat some broccoli also.
Oh, there you go. You're trying to live low cholesterol, obviously, right?
Yeah, actually, dude, you know what's weird? So I did keto for like 6 months, and I had the lowest cholesterol I ever had.
Dude, I heard that. I thank you for saying that, because that gives me hope, because I didn't want to do it because I was like, oh no, it's gonna fuck up my cholesterol or whatever.
I actually had the healthiest blood test I've ever had in my life when I did keto.
Huh.
So yeah, I recommend it. I don't think it's sustainable, but it was good for like 6 months.
Did you smell? Did your urine smell and all that?
No. I didn't notice, but I'm also always congested, so I don't really smell stuff very well. So I'm not the one to ask. And I was single, so I couldn't ask anybody I was dating, you know? Did I smell weird?
Isn't that the truth? Because, I mean, are you going to believe them either?
Unless they tell me I smell bad, then I believe them. But if they say I smell good, I would never believe them.
Right? You know? Isn't that how that works? I know, like, I don't believe compliments, but I certainly believe comments about my breath. Like, it's the fucking Bible.
Same.
Yeah.
Same, dude. If someone's like, dude, you're a good dude, I'll be like, yeah. And they're like, dude, you're a bad dude. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You're
probably.
right. Yeah.
You know?
The bacon is, do you want to call me back when you're done with the bacon? Because it's a little...
Oh, is it real loud?
Yeah, but I mean, I like it. Actually, you know what? I'll just stop talking. I'll just get the sound of the bacon. It doesn't really sound like bacon from my end, but...
What does it sound like?
It sounds like someone like... Can't even... It's lo-fi bacon. That's all I can say, I guess.
Lo-fi hip-hop beats?
It's bacon over the phone. Yeah, it's bacon over...
Oh, yeah. I mean, the bacon, it's going to be done shortly.
Okay.
And then the steak, I just put it on and leave it for a couple minutes at a time, and I can walk away.
What?
But, yeah.
I wanted to talk to you because, well, I wanted to do a whole podcast with you, but it sounds like you're actually being super responsible, which...
I don't even know about responsible. I've just been scared. I'm already a germaphobe and stuff, and this has been both validating and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, I bet, man. This is the apocalypse for a germaphobe.
Yeah, but also it's like I've always lived like this, you know? I've always been afraid of germs and getting sick anyway.
Yeah.
But now it's just like it's validating. I told you guys.
Yeah.
Look, you know?
Yeah, right? I think we met at the Denver Comedy Lounge real briefly.
I think we met like twice, but I don't think I saw you do a set. I think I just met you, and then we hung out for like a little bit.
I can't remember which night I met. One of those nights, somebody threw up in the middle of my set, and it was were you there for that?
I think I showed up after, because I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
But was that, because I remember one of the last times I was there was a couple who the girl fell out of her chair, and while she was on the ground, her boyfriend tried to hand her some sake. And then they talked during my fucking set, and so then I'm like, hey, what are you guys talking about? They weren't cognizant. They didn't even realize I was talking to them. And so then I'm like, man, really? Are you guys talking about how when you fell out of that chair a little bit ago? They weren't listening. So then I just started trashing them to the audience, where I'm like, hey guys, like, what should we name these people? And like someone in the crowd was like, Karen and Chad.
I didn't know that Karen was a thing until, like, that was a pre-pandemic thing, Karen. Yeah.
Karen's always been a thing, but she's been very prevalent during this time, you know?
This is her moment,
so,
dude.
Yeah, this is her time to shine.
She's blowing up. Yeah. What do they
Dude,
say?
it's
What's the rule? I think they say it takes 5 really bad customer service interactions to become an overnight Karen or something. I don't know if you know that.
I mean,
expression.
that sounds right. It sounds right because I think you're allowed one like mulligan. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
dude, sometimes you have a bad day and you might be upset. I mean, there's a difference though because some of these people it gets racial and weird.
Yeah.
But like I think sometimes if you're short with someone, you're like, hey, I'm sorry about that.
But don't you think that when it is racial, isn't Karen too soft a term for it?
The fact that they get upset by the word Karen is what makes it work. Because some people are like, I'm not a fucking Karen.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it funny, because they hate it.
Exactly.
It's kind of like I have a buddy. We call him Candy Andy, for no reason, and he hates it. But that's why we continue to call him Candy Andy. Because one time our friend was like, "Hey man, you're Candy Andy now," and he goes, "Why? I hate that." And then we're like, "That's why." And now we call him Candy Andy ever since.
Dude, that one never stuck with me. People tried that one, but I do painting and contracting and handyman stuff when I'm, not doing comedy in the podcast. And
They call you Handy Andy?
Dude, they're like, no, but they're legit. They're like, you know what? Have you thought about this? And they mean it.
It's kind of like when after a show, someone will come and be like, have you thought about talking about Trump or anything like that? Oh, yeah. I should have thought of that earlier.
Have you, though? Have you thought about talking about Trump in your act? Because for your skits, I mean, it's important to be topical for your skits. Yeah.
That's my favorite. My dad was like, yeah, you should talk about Trump because look at Hassan Minhaj. Now he has a whole huge career because he talked about Trump one time. And I was like, okay, thanks, Dad. Because I can't explain to him. You can't just, that's not it,
Yeah, right. Man, I've been thinking about this a lot. Maybe this is what we should get into a little bit, because dads and comedy, like my dad is not on board. And I've been doing comedy for 10, 12 years, but...
How old are you?
I'm 43.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I thought we were the same age.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Oh, man, come on. You didn't mean that.
No, for real.
Don't flatter me.
That's crazy. So how do you know like Anthony and stuff?
I just know Ben. And
gotcha.
I met Ben in New York, and through a really weird set of circumstances where I had rented an apartment in this room. I had rented a room from an ex-girlfriend of his who was crazy, and I don't say that like, oh, women are crazy, like, because it's dismissive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, dude,
actually,
like, dude, she had a if your landlord has an RV, an escape plan, that's And like she had an RV in Brooklyn, dude.
Oh yeah, where do you? That has to be so expensive to park somewhere.
I don't know, man. And she was in Williamsburg, so I don't know. Yeah, and but anyway, I met Ben outside the Creek and Cave. I don't know if you know that club, and I talked to him, and I just had I was like, hey man, you remember this chick or whatever? So I'd found out that he would dated her or whatever, and then we kind of bonded a little bit, and then he's been super good to me. So.
Oh, dude, Ben's the best, man. He's like a magical person. He's just a pure person. He's like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
There's no ulterior motives. It's just,
right.
Hey, man.
Dude, he has a purity of heart. And I have brother issues. My brother died, so I'm like trying to...
damn, man.
Oh, I mean, he knows he's dead. And when I make friends with men, sometimes there's this little voice. Will you be my brother?
Yeah, for sure. And Ben adopted you, probably.
A little bit. He did it, but he's like, all right, dude, we're good. Let's not get crazy. No, but I love him.
Yeah. But dads in comedy.
So yours is supportive of your stand-up?
He kind of is, but he also doesn't get it. I remember the first time I showed him my tape, because he's never seen me live. So my parents live in Dallas, and I live in Colorado. And so one time I showed him my tape because I was just like, I wonder what he thinks, And he watched it, and he's like, oh, wow, like, people actually laugh at your stuff. And I was like, that's the bar? Like, you thought I'd just go up on stage and say shit, and people just look at me until I, like, get off?
Yeah.
That was the thing that he was confused about, Not, do you get booked regularly? You probably don't get laughs, huh?
Is he funny?
My dad's very funny. My dad has always cracked jokes, and I know, like, I get my sense of humor from him. He does a lot of dad jokes. One time I brought him into a Zoom chat with a bunch of my friends, and he goes, hi, I'm BK's dad. Call me AK. And then I was like, wait, why? And then he said, because A comes before B.
Okay, I guess that's dad. I thought it was like a rapper thing, like AK-47.
No. It's as simple as A comes before B. So he's my dad who came before me, and that's it. So what about your dad?
Oh, dude, it's complicated. He's an engineer. It's not complicated. The answer is no.
Dude, my dad's an engineer too.
Really?
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, my dad has a master's in engineering.
What kind?
He did mechanical engineering.
Okay.
But now he works in IT.
Well, and it's that same mind, like a mind that deconstructs. What makes him a good engineer makes him a kind of difficult dad, because
yeah, for sure.
With an engineer, they're looking for failure. That's their job.
Yeah.
You
that
don't.
Makes sense.
Somebody said this to me. It was like a huge insight. That's what makes him good at what he does. Is he has a mind that tears things down. Where's the stress point? Where could this fail? And they're not laid back. You don't want an engineer building your bridges who's like, I'm gonna go to lunch. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but that's how he is.
See, this is describing my dad so well right now.
I don't know if your dad does this, but he'll like lob these suggestions at me for careers that are like, do you even know me? Yeah. I mean, I'm open to input. You're my dad, but shop teacher at a community college, dude, where did that come from? That was 10 years ago, dude. And I mean, I'm good with my hands, and I taught for a minute. So I think that was his thinking.
Yeah. See, but my dad will also be like, hey, have you thought about doing this? Just take all these classes, and you'll be certified in like 3 months. And I'm like, no, dude, I got shows or blah, 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 or like whatever. Or even just writing, open mics. Like, I'm trying to make this happen, Like, I can't half-ass that for some other shit, I mean, I guess right now it's different because everything's kind of in a weird purgatory,
Yeah.
Did you see what happened to D.L. Hughley?
Yeah, man. That's so sad. I love him. That was so sad. Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy, man. He straight up just collapsed on stage,
I wonder if he still got paid. That's what I keep wondering.
I wonder, too, because I don't know how far into a set he was, I think that's what matters.
Yeah, was it at his closer? Was it? Yeah, we should check that out. I'm going to dig into that.
There's some people out there in the world, man, that, like, they think, comics are just like joke monkeys.
Yeah.
Because I look at comedy as like it's like a relationship between two people, the audience and then the people on stage.
Definitely.
But for some people, you're a jukebox. You just like fucking tell that one joke from 8 years ago.
Yeah, I learned that lesson of when I would feel self-conscious about saying I was a comic for a long time, and then when I started owning it, and then when they'd be like, do that thing where they're trying to see how you're funny. No, I'm off the clock, I think people respect that more too. They're like, I do that there. That's the whole thing, Like,
for sure.
Have you ever had that thing where they don't know you're a comic and they come up and they're like, man, have you ever thought about being a comedian?
Yeah.
Isn't that the best? That's my favorite.
Dude, it is.
Because it's so affirming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like, guess I'm doing what I should be doing.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of the back and forth, the audience it's a two-part thing, it's a collaboration. Yeah. I feel the same. I mean, there's people who are more like joke machines, who are like that, and I respect that kind of comedy too. I just can't do it. I'm talky, conversational.
Same.
Do you feel like with the Zoom stuff, it's
so weird for me?
Isn't it hard?
Yeah. Like, I have jokes that are written, but being in Colorado, being a person of color, talking about being Indian.
Yeah.
Sometimes I talk about like racist shit that happened to me, but like, I'm going to make it funny. I'm not just going to be like, yeah, then she called me a sand N-word. All right, bye.
Yeah.
So people in Colorado tighten up because they don't want to be racist or whatever. And so a lot of my jokes involve me having to work around that. So like, I have different things. So if I say something, sometimes my opener is always, I'm not a smart Indian person. And it's the hardest part about being an Indian person. And then like the crowd sometimes will go, "Aw."
Oh, that's it's
the worst. It's the worst.
It makes me want to stab people.
It took me months to figure out what to do because laugh, I just go, "Oh, shut up, I'm fine," or something like that.
Yeah. I get hostile, and if they think it's a comeback, like I'm being funny, but I'm like, fuck, I get angry. I'm like,
dude, me too, man. A laugh, you know what to do with. A not laugh, you know what to do with, because you'd be like, what, you don't think that's funny?
Yeah.
But like, don't feel bad for me.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like jokes, they go sometimes one way or the other. If it misses, it reveals that you're a bad person sometimes.
Yeah.
Legit. And then,
for sure.
And then other times you get pitied. and that is not, I don't know. It's not fun. I'm
trying to think of what I'd prefer. Because being pitied sucks. Like, especially when it's about your life.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, it's different if you're like, yeah, then, there's a bunch of dogs that are starving in this one country. And then if they go, it's different. But then when you're like, here's my upbringing and what happened to me in my life. And then they're like, it's like, oh, no. Or sometimes I'll be like, don't worry, I'm a comic now,
Right. Which is just something you say but it still hurts. It's still.
Yeah, it does.
But
I wish I was a doctor sometimes.
Do you?
I mean, sometimes, man. I wonder what would have happened if I just went to college normally, got like a medical degree, had a family. Yeah, just like traditional Indian people stuff, what they do.
Yeah.
So it is weird just like, being like single, not having a degree. Yeah, I finally have a job, but like that's about it,
Yeah.
So
when it gets to the relationship part of it, that's where it gets tricky. Like I can deal with my dad's stuff, getting a girl to sign up for a comic. Like a lot of times they think it's fun at first, but then it's like, this is what it's really like.
Yeah, because they're like every night, or like you got to go to like because a lot of it too, because it's not all of it's like doing a show at Comedy Works.
Yeah.
Most of it is just like there's this bar, they have an open mic. I gotta hang out for an hour and a half or 2-3 hours, sometimes 4, so I can do 3 minutes. And see if this material has legs.
Yeah. And they're always, oh no, let me come see. You're like, no, don't do this. It's an open mic.
Yeah.
And in your head, you're like, A, I don't want you to think this is who I am, and B, it's gonna hurt you. Like a doctor, comedy can do harm.
For sure, man. I brought one of my friends, like not even a girl I was dating, who she was like a friend that lived in my neighborhood. And she was like, hey, I'd love to come check out one of the open mics sometime. And I was like, you know what? We're not dating, so that's totally fine. So I bring her out. And I remember the end of the night, she was like, honestly, being there kind of made me sad. and I was like, what do you mean? Because like for me, this is like, I'm just so used to it. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, that one girl was talking about like this, and this one guy was talking about how he doesn't have a mom, and like a lot of the stuff they said made me sad. And I started laughing so hard because I'm like, dude, like that's just I don't know what to tell you. It's just how they are and how it is,
Yeah, man. Are you noticing this like since you can't do it? Like I notice it's got to come from somewhere, that affirmation, or I get crazy. I dump it into the dumbest shit, like likes on Facebook, or like or like trying to get somebody to laugh at like if I go to the grocery store, and if you if you can't use your mouth, it's gonna miss.
Yeah, man.
And it took me a while to realize this, dude. Like I was like we were like 2 months into this, and I'm like, man, why am I obsessing about some of this shit? And it's because I don't have that, Well,
it's because when you find your value in telling jokes, because even, dude, like it came to a point for me when like if I went on a date with a girl, like if she was like, you're so hot, I'm like, whatever. Then if she's like, you're so funny, I'm like, oh yeah?
Right.
Like tell me more, you know? Like that's the thing I wanted. Like me being like attractive like meant nothing. But like her being like, you're funny, I'm like, oh yeah? Like tell me more,
Yeah. Yeah, because like if you're funny, it's like your soul is good, and if you're pretty, it's like, well, that can go away.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I definitely feel it. I did the Facebook thing for a while, where I was just like there's 1 week I just had all these premises and stuff coming up, and I was like, ooh, Facebook, and like I get the likes, I'm like, oh, this is the shit. And then now I just I don't know. I feel like I kind of like am sitting in the emptiness, Yeah. I read this book one time, and it talked about how if you're the president and you stop being the president, you have to realize you're not just the president. You're more than that. And like trying to figure out what and who you are. And so that's why kind of right now, I'm just like, dude, who am I? At one point in life, when I used to drink all the time and party, my identity was I'm the party guy, And then now it's like I'm the comedian. Yeah. And now it's just I'm some guy like at his apartment with way too many animals.
Yeah, I do. I've been sober for 8 years, so
oh, dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I relate to. It's always a struggle with identity.
Were you in New York sober?
Yeah, Yeah, it was an obstacle.
Dude, how was that?
It was hard, man. It was hard. I mean, I do program stuff. I had support, but it was hard. And I was a few years into sobriety, so I don't know. I did LA. I went to LA and I was about 6 months sober, and that I almost fucking lost my mind.
Like, you were 6 months sober when you moved to LA?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then how long were you in LA for?
Not long, just a few months. And I mean, I left knowing how much, it would cost to get hair transplants and have my love handles frozen off. Like even the comics are beautiful, So like,
oh yeah,
I loved New York so much more for comedy because in LA, they look at each other to see if you're funny. Whereas in New York, they have an ear for it. It seems like they know somebody who's funnier than you. They grew up with some guy, who just was hilarious. But where was I? Oh, so like the race thing too, dude. I feel it's weird as a fucking Caucasian. I feel I like to talk about race too, not to be like, here's Andy's hot take, but because I want to talk about that shit, and it's more uncomfortable to perform in front of a white room than it is like a mixed room. It's way more difficult to talk about race when it's just
absolutely
white people. And because I did this show last week at Landlocked and the whole audience was white, and I wanted to start talking about I wanted to start doing some of my stuff that I've been working on that was like just from childhood about like making friends with black dudes. I was in Midwest. I'm not going to run my material, but I mean, it's not formed yet. I mean, some of it is, but working out that material during a pandemic in front of a crowd of white people.
It's scary in Colorado too, man. Have you done comedy in Boulder yet?
No.
Oh, dude, Boulder's even worse.
Really?
Like Boulder, like I remember when I first started, the first time I did a conservative city, I did Johnstown, and I was nervous because I'd only done like super liberal rooms. But dude, I had up until that point, that was the best set I ever had doing in Johnsville. They have like a conservative radio station next door, and like the brewery we're at, it's a veteran like style, so it's got like, if you order water, it comes in a canteen, and they have like military stuff just everywhere. And dude, they loved it. Yeah. Because just everything they took face value, just like, like they didn't think about it or like, should we laugh? Should we not laugh? They just laughed. And dude, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, dude, as a very liberal person, like I almost prefer doing a conservative room.
That makes sense.
For as far as just like laughs, And they're all nice to me too. Like afterwards, they're like, "Dude, you're so funny, man. That was awesome." Like honestly, I had a better experience doing that than I have most of the times at Boulder.
Yeah. I mean, God save me from a woke audience, man. It's fucking difficult.
Dude, yeah. Portland too. Mm-hmm. Portland, I remember like the first show I did was amazing, and then like they're all good shows, but they were a little tight with the race stuff.
Yeah. Well, Portland is pretty fucking white city.
Yeah. I mean, very white. Yeah.
I was in Flatbush in New York. It was mostly black neighborhood, like southeast, Caribbean. A lot of people from Caribbean, and then I moved back to Salt Lake. I'm from Illinois, but I was in Salt Lake for a few years doing grad school and stuff while I was doing stand up. But there it's like, I always like, it's like so white, like something happened. Like you're walking around, you're like, you're like, what happened here? And it's something did happen. I mean, if you were, I don't know if it was just, I don't know. I think it was like, if you're not white, you don't get to go to heaven. Like they have in Mormonism, there's like 3 levels of heaven. Everybody goes to heaven, but you're going to the bronze tier if you're of color.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's fucking nuts. And that was up until 1980. And like, of course, it's not going to be a black friendly city actually, there's a fair amount of like, there's actually Polynesian community there. Yeah, it's just strange. And I care about it because, I mean, obviously I care about it like just as a person, but like I care about it as a comic because, I mean, you get this, like if you gotta fucking take a swing and miss when you're writing material, and when you miss around race,
like you said, you just come off.
You're a bad,
like
you're a bad person on some level. You know? I mean, yeah. Are you, I mean, how are you, you're not going outside, but are you feeling like, cause so my buddy Alip's Indian, and he was talking about, he feels kind of removed from the police stuff a little bit. Like his experiences haven't been, necessarily as violent or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
no, for sure, man. Cause I've been to jail. I've been arrested.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it wasn't like a bad, I mean, the jail part sucked, but like, I feel like, yeah, I think typically too, like I've been let go a lot of times as well, because like, I think, you know, when you look at Indian stereotypes and things like that, we're basically just nerds. So there's really no like systematic oppression on us, at least police wise, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like it is basically like, I feel for the people who have to go through all of it.
Yeah.
And like, that's about it, man. Like I don't have any personal experiences with it. So I just, you know, just want to help the people that do.
Yeah, man. And like, I mean, I've been pulled over and stuff out in the country in Illinois, and like, there's no accountability. I mean, the police report that I had, I was on this date with this girl. I was on my third date, this Match.com date, and we got pulled over and I got arrested because I was on a suspended license. And they had all the power in the world. It was just me and her and this cop out in the middle of the fucking cornfield, dude. And he got a little strong with me, and I'm like, this is bad. Like, I got nothing, you know? Like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God, we've been talking for a minute. It's good talking to you, dude. We didn't resolve any
man.
dad issues. I feel like you're in a better spot, though. I got to be honest. Like,
dude, yeah, it's all good, man. You know what? Honestly, you should come on me and Elon's podcast sometime.
Yeah, I would love to.
So,
I would love to, man.
For sure, man.
Well, dude, nice meeting you.
For sure, bro.
I don't know. I just wanted to talk to you. So,
no, dude, I want to talk to you too, man.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, later, guys.
Bye, BK.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Peace.
Bye. That's BK Sharad. I hope you go follow him on Instagram. His handle is Insane Brown Posse. That's at Insane Brown Posse. Another amazing handle. Dude, the afterburn that I feel after conversations. Hi, dude. I don't know who you are, the collective. Dude. You heard that. So let me share this. I'm going to do the post-game wrap-up about what Andy feels right after a conversation. One, super easy to talk to, BK. And it's like good people know good people, you know, like my buddy Elon, like he's friends with BK. And so of course, like he's a good dude, but like, okay, I feel a little bit of like, I was the host. I was maybe manhandling it, too much. Didn't let him talk enough. I'm feeling that. I'm just downloading. I'm not saying it's true or not. I don't know what you're thinking about it. But see, this is the thing. I know you're probably thinking something different. You're probably thinking something that's like way worse than anything I can think of about me. Probably. Well, I'll take a stab. I was saying some things I've said before. But this is just uncomfortable, man. Making friends with people, or as if it's not making friends, just like that first conversation with people. It's and it's also a comic, and it's also so it's being recorded. But I don't know. I feel like that was good. Don't you like him? I like him. I like him a lot. Like I feel like I would talk to him more. He would be a friend in real life or whatever. But I mean, is that what this is? Is this finding friends with Andy? It's just trying to connect with people, man. It's just trying to connect. And like, there's this thing, and this is the thing I guess I keep hammering away at her, like that's really on my mind lately, is like there's like a different dynamic if you're friends with someone who's a person of color. I mean, eventually you forget about it. Like I forget about it, you know, once you get closer, but there's another level of trust and like negotiating or something in your head. Like you can feel it. You can feel a little bit of a tension, because they gotta screen you, and you gotta screen them too. Obviously, I mean, fucking people are people. So like, you don't trust everybody. All right, I'll share one. This is I'm trying to air my thoughts. I'm not trying to just air unreflected racist thoughts, but I do believe in speaking things out loud and being honest, because I think it's more dangerous to just not say some of this stuff. And so like, because of the whole CEO of Home Depot giving money, his whole estate or whatever, huge chunk of his estate to Trump thing, no more Home Depot for Andy. And I spent a fair amount of money at hardware stores, lumber supply, stores over a year, a given year. And so it's a decision. So Lowe's, I'm not saying it because I'm super important, but I mean, because they're not, like, Lowe's isn't as good for a lot of things. Some things they're better, but I mean, I had this thing, I'm going to share this with you. I'm embarrassed, not embarrassed. I'm a little like, kind of, I'm realizing, there's still stuff there, obviously, in my head, biases and stuff. Because I returned, and keep in mind, I didn't have one interaction with a person of color at this Lowe's. In fact, people there were, like, the people helping me were like two veterans. Like, they both had on vet hats, camouflage, like, vest thing. Like, I guess Lowe's lets you have a camouflage vest, or I don't know. But these are probably people totally on the other side of the spectrum from me, politically. I don't know, just taking a stab. You could feel it too. You can feel it. I wear sort of NPR glasses, so I think they just know, or they think they know. But anyway, I mean, who's they right now? Conservatives. God, this labeling, it's so violent, really, to just label people like this, but I guess we have to in this world. We got to know who our allies are. Anyway, I bought this piece of fence. It was like an 8-foot section of fence. I'm trying to fix this section here at my cousin's for them, and I bought it. And it's not like you go to the register with a piece of fence. You don't walk up to the cash register. It's outside, and you take a picture of the number, the item number, and then you pay for it, and then you pick it up. And like at the other desk or whatever. And I go buy it, it rings up, and then I go to pick it up, and the guy's like, no, we don't have this. So, I mean, I paid for something that wasn't even in stock. And here's where it gets interesting. I know that stuff's a little tedious, but the guy refunds my money, because I didn't get the fence, obviously, right there. Doesn't give me a receipt, or I probably tossed it, but he paid me in cash, and I had paid on a debit card. I totally forget about the cash and just go on, and I keep watching my account for this credit. And this was June 9th. Nothing. Call 7 to 10 days, they say, before a refund goes through. And I've called a few times, and they're like, you got to talk to this person. I'm like, I'm not a Karen. I'm not a customer service person. I don't do this, but I'm putting a lot of effort into this thing. And I'm just getting more indignant. And I got to tell you, in the back of my mind, I'm like, so this is a black-owned business. They got to get their shit together. Like, I'm trying to be supportive of Black Lives Matter, but these fucking, see, at the end of that sentence is not what you're thinking. It was like they. It was a belief that black-owned businesses don't have their shit together. Might be true, might not. I don't know. How would I even make the judgment? Because I don't go to a lot of fucking black-owned businesses. So there's one problem before I start making decisions. And I don't mean because because I'm making an intentional decision not to go to black-owned businesses. It's because if I wanted to support people of color, or at least black Americans, I mean, I support black Londoners too, but in my mind, those are the only two categories. Jesus. It's so fucking vulnerable to talk about this stuff. You can hear yourself, you can hear your own ignorance out loud. You can hear the flaws in your own thinking. But I just offer it because maybe you're carrying some of this. Maybe you're like, fuck, man, I have beliefs like that too. I guess I didn't finish the story. I mean, the thing is, here I am going, like, patting myself on the back for hanging in there with Lowe's, the black-owned business. And I think just the chairman of the board is a black dude. And they have some funding and stuff that they do, some scholarships or whatever. Definitely way more aligned with their politics. Also, they filmed Equalizer 2 at a Lowe's. Or maybe one of them, but I find that it was an abandoned Lowe's outside of Boston. So I think that's, I support anyone who supports Denzel. But I get to the register, finally get up there yesterday. And after a lot of no's, a lot of like, I can't help you. I didn't have the receipt, they can look it up by transaction. And I go to the guy and I can't look it up. Just, you get this disparate information, this conflicting information sometimes with customer service. And you want to just be like, you people, like when you talk about Lowe's, it's you people, it's a company, it's not individuals in your head. Like the more angry you get, the more it becomes a thing, an entity. And it becomes like the individuals lose their face, in a sense. Getting pontificating here. I'm getting. Anyway, I get to the register. I get this manager, and she finally looks it up, and she's like, "Oh, so what happens is we gave you cash, And I mean, 2 weeks of this. I've been tracking this down. I totally forgot that I had gotten cash. And I did have a moment there where it's like she was going to credit me the cash because she just took me at my word. Which, by the way, loophole. If you want to commit fraud, I guess. I don't know. It's a tough way to make a living. And I'm like, yeah, I got to be honest about this just because I got to be honest about shit because it's a slippery slope. If I don't be honest. I just went down a rabbit hole in my head thinking about something I said to BK that I was just kicking myself over. Anyway, these are thoughts. It doesn't mean... This is something I've learned, is that just because I have thoughts doesn't necessarily mean they're mine. They're thoughts. And it's if I act on them, that's when it's a different situation. But they do inform my actions. If I'm carrying long-running beliefs and prejudices, I do treat people differently when shit comes down to it. And like just talking to BK just now, I mean, I realized when I was talking about kind of actively trying to bring people of color back into my friend group or trying to reestablish those connections, which I didn't even get to the point of that story. There's like, you can see the other person, you can see him being like, dude, I don't know what he was thinking. Just on a personal level, and this may or may not have something to do with race, like as if this all isn't personal. Why do I even qualify it like that? But on some level, man, I think I have to be perfect. I have to be some sort of example. It's probably evangelical upbringing. I gotta be an example of Jesus or whatever. And it's a lot of pressure. And don't need to get crucified. Not part of the deal. But with race and with being a dick and with hurting other people, you do have to be perfect on some level. If the measure of perfection is don't hurt people, then yeah, the standard needs to be don't hurt people. But I think when you get into this, man, the thing is, you're going to hurt people. You're going to remind them of the ways they've been hurt before. And anytime you're close to someone, they're going to press a button that reminds you of all the ways you've been hurt before. I don't know if you've heard that expression. If it's hysterical, it's historical. It's an Al-Anon expression. You know, if you're having an extreme reaction to something, a lot of times it's an old reaction. It's because it goes way back. And you're threatened on some deep, deep level. Triggered, activated, whatever you want to call it. But this shit is trauma, man. Race in America is trauma. Same way, I'm just going to say it, same way sexual abuse is trauma. I don't mean to compare the two in terms of levels of like what's worse or better. I'm just saying if you've had something happen to you, you're going to carry that out into the world. And you don't want to talk about it because people will start blaming you for bringing it up. Oh, look at you. You're a victim. You had more to do with that than you're saying. You had a part in it. You shouldn't have been there. You should have done this. You should have done that. That fucking victim blaming shit happens all the time to women who try to talk about being assaulted or whatever. We do it to fucking each other. We do it to each other all the time, but I think I might just release this fucking podcast as one chunk. Not edit. Because again, there's embarrassing stuff in here. But I'm not going to polish it. I'm working on myself. And there's no bow to tie off on this. I'm just trying to keep making a commitment to my buddy Drew, my newer friend Drew now, man. He's trying to encourage me to just be more honest in my life. Just own it, not giving a fuck. And this is part of it. But I do give a fuck. But you know what? On some level, what I care about is being perceived as a racist. That's what's fucked up. There's a part of me who's really, that's what I go to if I'm coming across that way versus the actual harm I might be doing. That's fucked up. Appearances. How are you? It just talked about me the whole time. I'm getting better with my dad. I haven't talked to him, but I'm starting to find some peace about that. If you listen to the last episode, I got into it, and BK and I got into that. I thought that was useful. It's thundering outside. It's nice. That's my favorite weather. But if you're out there and I don't know you, I'm still thinking of you. And I hope, my hope for you is that if you feel, it's a cliche, but if you feel alone, and there's a very specific kind of alone that you might be feeling, I just want you to know you're completely alone and nobody loves you. You're right. You are 100% right about that. I hate to be the one to break it to you. I care about you, whoever you are. I do not because I'm like some amazing person, but because I know what it feels like. Like when you're in pain and you can't even articulate why, you don't know why, there's something driving you and don't understand it, and you're filled with shame or whatever. I feel you. But I just want to say, you're not alone, and we're all carrying this shit, man. So I don't know if this was useful today. I hope it was. And I hope I just kept you company, because that's what we do. I hope we just keep each other company during this. Conversation's like a fireplace, you know. To me, listening to a good one is like just warming my hands by a fire. Did I tell any jokes? Was there any jokes in this thing? How many fucking sighs have I done? How many times did I say fuck? That's our show. Thanks for listening. Just a reminder, got a show at Denver Comedy Lounge. If you're here in Denver, that's Friday. Go to their Facebook page. That's this Friday. I'm right in the middle. Why is that bugging me? I'm in the middle of the lineup. Middle's a good spot. You got the two openers. This is what I think about. God damn it. Let it go, dude. You're on a show. Go to the website, wanderingtheaisles.com. If you want any more information about the show, what's coming up, how to support it, how to get my album, how to make okra, fried okra. I have a recipe on there for that. It includes dates that I'm going on. I list all the dates I'm going on my website. Just coming up, Cheryl, we're going to be going to Starbucks and sitting in separate cars, but talking with the windows rolled down. That'll be July 7th, I believe. I've rescheduled that one a few times. Anyway, you get it. Everything's on the website, wanderingtheaisles.com. You can review the show on iTunes. It's like a way to get the encouragement. If you want to write me a letter, write it on iTunes. If it's a mean letter too, it's fine. Patreon.com/wanderingtheaisles to support the show. Give us a review on iTunes if you feel like it. Kind of a nice way to say hello that you're listening. No financial support needed there if you don't want to do that. And as always, at Wandering Isles all over the internet. At Wandering Isles. Instagram, Twitter, the dark web. I got to wrap this up because I need to go get ice cream. I think the meth people are long gone. Don't give me shit about calling them the meth people and thinking like you got some, like I'm not taking this problem seriously. Look, I'm in a 12-step program for people that do that shit. Trust me. I take it very seriously. I'm around it every day. Many people who just did what happened in this parking lot. And tomorrow morning, I see them. If that makes sense. So don't fucking turn your nose up at me. Don't fucking shame me. There's so much shaming. How about we all cut the shaming? If you want to just yell at somebody, do that. Fine. No shaming. It's bullshit. It doesn't do anything. It does. It makes people feel bad. Okay. Whoa. Dude, let's forget about this. Cut the shaming lecture that you just did. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being you. And I'm grateful to be alive today. I'm grateful to be sober. And I feel like something's happening, man. Something's happening in this country. And I think it's good. It's awful and it's good. We're hitting the bottom. All right. Peace, guys. Take out. Peace. Take out. Peace, guys. Take out. Take something away. Go get some carry out. And do it quietly and peacefully. That's my sign off.